Hi, I'm Jacqueline Pearce, and I'm here today to talk about my new book in the Orca Think series, What Animals Want, the 5 Freedoms in Action.
And I'm Lois Peterson, and I'm here to talk about my book, Shelter Homelessness in Our Community, which is also published by Orca Book Publishers in their Think series.
Lois, your book encourages kids to think about homelessness. Why did you want to write about this topic?
Well, I spent a lot of years working in public libraries, and they happen to be one of the few places that a number of homeless people feel comfortable coming to spend time to get out of the weather. And so I'd met a few and got to know a few in my time in libraries. And then later on, I went to work for a homeless shelter. And I then became very aware of all the varying opinions that were out there in the community about the causes of homelessness, what should be done and what could be done, and comments about what was being done. And it made me realize that a lot of adults with these opinions, they weren't basing them on facts or information. They were just basing them upon their feelings, their opinions. And I knew very well that many children get most of their ideas, especially on big social issues, from what they hear adults say. And so I wanted to write a book that presented information, that gave a few of the facts about homelessness, who it affects, why and how, and also gave them some tools for determining or for deciding on for developing their own opinions, so that they knew that they had some ideas that were based on information they had learned, and that they could share and talk about it with both each other, other children, and the adults in their lives. So that's where my impetus came from my book. Jackie, what about you and yours?
Well, I've always been interested in animals. Right now I have a dog and 2 cats, and I always enjoy the wild animals I see around me. I've also done some volunteer work with the BC SPCA, which is the British Columbia Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. And they asked me to work with them to write a different kind of book about animal welfare, one that looks at animals' physical needs and also at their emotional needs. And I know that a lot of kids have pets in their homes, or they see animals in the community, and they might see animal issues on the news, and they might have questions. They might wonder what's going on and just be curious or want to know how they can help. And so this book helps kids look at animal issues, animal needs in a variety of situations, and helps them form their own opinions and look from the animal's point of view. So both books talk about what it means to have a happy, healthy life. And Lois, can you tell us a bit about what humans need to have a good life?
Well, of course, we're all different, so we all have different specific needs. But in 1943, an American psychologist whose name was Abraham Maslow, he developed something called a hierarchy of needs by studying people and how they live. And he came up with a list of 5 things, and they're built in a pyramid, which conveys how you first have to have the base layer in your life before you can expect to move on to the next. And the basic level of the hierarchy is the focus on physiological needs. That means things that your body needs, whether it's food, whether it's water, whether it's warmth, whether it's healthcare. And then above that, the next thing after that is safety needs. We all need to be safe. We all need to be safe in where we live and where we spend our time. We need to feel that we can move safely about the community, doing what we need to do. And the next level up from that is love and belonging. We've all got friends and family if we're fortunate, and that is so important to mental and physical health of every human being. The next level up from that is esteem. And that is not only what we think about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, but also how others view us. And it's really important that we have a good sense of self-esteem, and that we feel that others respect us and recognize us for who we are. And the next level at the very top is called self-actualization. And that is that ability of human beings to set goals, to know what we want, to feel that we can do what's required in order to achieve that. And all those things work together, but it's very difficult to achieve one of the things on Maslow's hierarchy until the one before it is in place. And so it's a good framework for looking at our own lives and evaluating other people's lives as well, and helping determine what they might need to live a better life. So Maslow is the framework I introduced in my book, Jackie. Now, I believe you had a similar framework that you used in yours.
Yes, that's right. So I talk about something called the 5 freedoms, and this is a framework developed in the United Kingdom in 1965 to help scientists, animal scientists, look at the condition of animals on factory farms. And then it was applied to animals in other situations in human care, and then used around the world. So in my book, I talk about the 5 freedoms, and they look at animal needs, and very similar to what you've just discussed. So things like physical needs for food and water and warmth and security and a safe place to live, safe, comfortable place. And these are also based on what the latest scientific understanding is telling us about animal needs. So for example, what type of food does a dog need compared to a cat? Or what type of food does a small animal like a guinea pig need? So there's all kinds of situations like that that I talk about in the book. And then also emotional needs, which is something new. A lot of people don't realize that animals actually feel a lot of emotions, from anxiety to being close and bonded with other animals. And they need to be able to do some of their natural behaviors to feel happy and satisfied and not bored or are anxious. So for example, chickens like to spread their wings and stretch them out. And if they're living in a factory farm where the space is tight, they don't get to do that behavior, and they can get anxious and stressed, which can actually affect their health as well. And some animals, like cows, are very social, and they like to be around other cows, just like people might like to be around other people, or do things that make them feel happy. So the needs are different for different animals, and I think that's an important thing to pass on through this book. And also their needs are similar to human needs, so we can put ourselves in the place of animals, but think about what the specific animal needs.
With so many similarities between our the frameworks that we're using, there are of course lots of differences when we look at people's individual situations, human-animal relationships and situations. And so there's a lot more in the book, in both our books, that explore these elements as a way to look at the topics we're writing about. And we'll talk about them a little more in the next video that we hope you'll watch. So we'll leave information about how you can find that, and even how you can contact us if you'd like to continue this conversation. Thanks, Jackie.
Thanks.